am Mandisa Johnson with Atlanta Film and TV. Today we are hosting our first featured artist interview with actor Ned Garnier. Hi Ned, how are you today?
I'm doing great and fantastic. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. So could you tell us about who you are and what you do in the Atlanta film and TV community?
So I'm an actor. I've been acting for about 4 years. I graduated from Georgia State University with a theater and film production degree, along with an African American Studies minor. And I've just been having a great time creating stories for within the Atlanta film industry.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. So can you take us on your journey about how you found your love of the arts to where you are today?
Yeah. So while I was in college, my first major was actually computer science.
Okay.
And I found out real quick that I did not have the skills for computer science. And so I then went into computer information systems, which what I was told was more so the business side of it. And I wasn't too bad at it, but I realized that it wasn't a degree that was going to make me happy. I knew that the money was out there, and it was just there. Uh, it wasn't until I sat down and I actually went through the things that I knew was going to make me happy in life, because at any point we can go.
Hmm.
And so the one thing that I kept coming back to was film and acting. And I decided to the next day change my majors and start the journey of storytelling right after that.
Wow, that's amazing. So um I think I read in that interview that you did with I think it was Voyage ATL, you were talking about how majoring in theater and performance made you happy. So what was it about that that made you happy?
Oh man. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Soul. It was like the Disney movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they hit on something that really spoke to me with the getting into the zone. And when you get into that zone, it's liberating, it's free. And being able to play different characters with different morals and different ideas whenever you're reading a script,
Hmm.
to me, it's just something that's just so freeing. Taking a step out of my daily shoes and entering it into a character that a writer has come up with passionately, that really resonated with me as an actor, especially on the stage
Hmm.
and film. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. I can see how that you can make that connection to the film Souls. I've seen that a couple times. So we are going to take a break, but we'll be right back. Welcome back. Today we are having a conversation with actor Ned Garnier. Can you share with us about some of the projects you've worked on as an actor?
Yeah. So my first two projects were actually during college.
Hmm.
Um, well, they were both short films, and they were for a competition called Movie Fest, um, to where people within the school would make these short films within 5 minutes, and you would compete against everybody else, and the top three would then go to Cannes Film Festival, and we won. My group won back to back both years. And in the second year, I got to actually go and experience the Cannes Film Festival. And
Wow.
which I actually got casted for a short film while I was there as well. Um, I got the opportunity to work on Black Panther for a bit, and then I also got the opportunity to work cast as in Coming to America, to where I got the opportunity to really study under Arsenio Hall, Eddie Murphy, um, and some of the biggest names that were there. Uh, and so now I'm helping produce a film called Lions and Lambs that is going to be shot and casted all within Atlanta. Um, Also cast on that as well. But that's the biggest upcoming project that we have planned right now.
Okay, yeah, you'll have to keep us updated on that
Definitely.
project. So, okay, so I know you were Chadwick Boseman stand-in for Black Panther. So let's talk about that. Can you share about that experience?
Yeah. So funny enough, I so this was only maybe, let's say, it was less than a year that I had right after I had switched into my major of acting.
Wow.
And I had received, I'll never forget this. I had received a text message asking if I was interested in going to, excuse me, going into a fitting.
Hmm.
And so I was just going to entertain it. I didn't really know much about the industry at that time. I didn't know how they got my number, but um, I started entertaining it. I was like, okay, well, if it doesn't work out, then it's just a text message, just erase it. And so we're continuing on with the conversation, and they asked, "Will you be able to come in for a fitting on?" I think it was like a Thursday, and I was like, "Sure." Where is it at? It's at Tyler Perry Studios. I was like, "Oh, okay, this might be real." Okay, so as I'm messaging back, they call me and they're like, "Well, can we actually get you in today?"
Mm.
And so I'm like, "Yes, 100%, yes." So I'm like sprinting to my class, telling my professor, "Hey, I just got this like gig, I think." And so my professor's like, "Yeah, just go." And I get there and I'm being fitted, and one of the costume designers is, "Well, are you ready to be like put in a suit?" And at first, I didn't know what they meant, so I was like, there's no way would it like get to the suit." Like, you know, next day I get there at like 5 a.m. Like, not even the birds are up, and I get to the trailer and they say, "Well, here's the suit," and I was like, "Oh, oh, okay." Right? And they're like, "That's the last one, so don't rip it." And I was like, "Oh." But this is during, I believe this is during some of the reshoots, and I briefly got to meet him and exchange words, but nothing too deep. Very nice gentleman.
Hmm.
Um, you know, yeah, that was one of the biggest experience that I got to um, be a part of and got to witness these phenomenal actors and actresses, do what they do, and knowing that at the time, knowing that that's what I was working for and working towards, is really the art of it. And I think that's when I really knew I was where I needed to be as an actor. Um, so yeah, that was a very humbling moment.
Yeah, I can see that. When you told Eddie and I at our last event, and I was like, wait a minute. And then I was like, yeah, I can see that because you kind of you favor him a little bit. So I can see that. So I know you said you studied under Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall in Coming to America. Um, were you anybody stand-in? What did you do?
Yeah, so I started off as a stand-in
Okay.
for Mr. Murphy, and they got to the point where they started trusting me with other characters characters. So whenever they would run rehearsals, I would be the one in the room, basically playing whichever character that you needed. And I remember one day I came in, standing work, and sorry, this weather is like,
It's okay. It's
yeah.
okay.
Uh, and they came in, and I had already had my, script for the day, of the characters, and the AD comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, here are four more characters that you need to get." And I'm looking at these, and I'm just like, okay. They're like, how soon can you get this? And I was like, give me 5 minutes. So watching them and their professionalism and getting to be in the room with them, um, actually interacting with them and being in rehearsal with them, it was just as I was taking my master class, um, and getting paid for it.
Right. Yeah.
So then at that point, they trusted me so much that they then offered me a role. Um, and unfortunately, when final cuts came, they had to remove it, but um, still got credit for it. And yeah, it's just another experience that
Yeah.
put me in that space that I knew I was in the right space. So
Right, right. Wow. So I am a was a well, I am a big fan of the original Coming to Americas and then like the Three Old Men. Were you anywhere near when they were filming like the
yeah, so interestingly enough, that was actually when they were shooting that, that was one of my days off. So I get a call and my phone's just blowing up. And I get a call from the AD and he's like, "Hey, can you come in?" And I'm like, "Well, sure. Why not? It's the more days I'm on set, the better." And I get to set, and one of the set designers is like, "Yeah, we don't know who gave you that day off, but we need you for this one." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, what scene are we doing?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, we're doing the barbershop scene." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And because I'm a huge fan of the original one as well,
Mhm.
so I also got to be in those rehearsals. I also got to be the one that he plays off of while playing some of those roles, some of those iconic roles, and reading those lines and feeding him those lines. I mean, so that was a huge experience to also be in the same room in the same barbershop as there. Like
Right,
I'd never think in a million years that I would be the one like just witnessing it all happen, and learning so much. So,
right. Yeah, my sister is 10 years younger than I am. So she was 10. I mean, she was not 10. She was the movie came out in 87. She was born in 87. So I saw it the year she was born, before she was born. But now that's her favorite movie too. So we get on people's nerves knowing like we will recite the entire movie. They're like, "Will
oh,
you be quiet?" Like it's still like I can watch it today and just I'll find something new in the film every time I watch it. But
yeah.
it's one of my favorite. It's a classic.
Oh, 100%. That along with Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh yeah.
I'm really like old school film for myself. I love those old school films. I mean, even the other film like Harlem Nights.
Hmm.
A lot of people seem to like just forget about, but those iconic movies that are definite paths that I would like to be a part of in the future, as a storyteller.
Right. Well, that's an amazing experience. So what keeps you going as an actor?
Oh man. Um, that right there is, I think, no, it's not even I think. I know that acting for me is a topic that consistently brings a smile onto my face. Growing up, I watched a lot of films with my dad, especially on the VHS, which I'm
Mhm.
sure a lot of these viewers wouldn't know what that is, but on the but seeing a lot of those characters for me was something that was extremely powerful. Um, One of the most iconic characters for myself that I will always remember would be Danny Glover, Raisin in the Sun.
Mhm.
Seeing that theater film set and all those characters was something that instilled me with the passion to become a storyteller. I don't know if that makes sense, but it was definitely definitely giving back to a viewer in that way, in a very positive way, is something that I that pushes me each and every
Right.
day.
Yes.
So that for me is my drive. Um, yeah, that's definitely my drive.
No,
Being back to a viewer.
I understand completely wanting to like be able to tell a story so the viewers can get a different way of have a different way of understanding something. Because I feel like, especially with kids,
Mhm.
kids can learn by seeing something. Um, be it like a film or like a simple video, they seem to get it better, especially with like repetition.
Yeah.
A lot of repetition in acting. So um yeah. So
No,
I
yeah,
understand, and they understand more better in story form. If
yes.
you explain it, because that's how I learned story form, very visual. So I understand completely what you're saying. So we are going to take a break, but we'll be right back.
You don't strike me as the type of woman that would keep secrets.
We all have secrets, Troy.
Honey, you better know Michelle is the best makeup artist in town. Practices on herself all the time.
Everything has a price. You've been running all your life. When are you going to stop running? When I don't have a reason to.
I love you. And I love baby girl. And I promise I got you.
You don't have to do this by yourself. I'm here.
So you don't care?
It's not about caring, it's about privacy.
Why are you so obsessed with this case? Because I made a promise. Yeah, a promise you couldn't keep.
You are one lucky woman. That I am.
What are you doing? I'm not lying!
Everything has a price.
Welcome back. Today we are having a conversation with Ned Garnier. You recently attended our last networking event. What are your thoughts on networking, and how and why would you say it's important for someone looking to break into the industry?
Oh man, yeah. Networking, I think, is the bread and butter backbone of the industry. Um, when the pandemic happened, we saw just how much that human interaction, the lack of, can hurt not only just ourselves personally, but the entire industry.
Right.
Um, I like to say that sometimes the best way to sell yourself is not selling yourself, because we sh- everybody should be able to just have a natural and pure sense of just communication and authenticity. Um, it's networking is and getting yourself out there is extremely important, yes, but it's the connections that we make as writers, filmmakers, producers, actors, that sense of friendship and partnership is how the collaboration actually works.
Mhm.
So a lot of people like to think that when you hear the word collaboration, it's one side or the other, but really it's everybody coming together, actually working together. And being able to network is a part of that collaboration. Not everybody is going to be the right fit for each other, but you're going to find somebody who is the right fit with each other. And going to the last networking event, I thought it was great getting to meet so many different people, and reminding me just how much we need that human interaction with each other. Because the way that our artistry works is we have to be able to tell a story through a form of realism, and without getting to communicate to people, we then lose a part of that artistry, and then it becomes something synthetic. And we all can see when something is not as real as it should be.
Right.
So yeah, definitely networking is finding that balance, but also understanding that nobody should put on any type of front.
Right, exactly. You can get a good feel for somebody to see if they're, like you said, authentic, genuine when you meet them in person. Even you can really feel that authentic. I can't even say the word authenticity. I'm probably saying it wrong. Authentic
Right? Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Um, like I did a lot of virtual stuff, and then I was able to meet them in person when things started opening up. That meant that they really wanted to like meet up with you, really want to get to know you and connect. And collaboration is a very, very important term. I'm long-term subbing at a school. In the classroom that I'm in, the teacher always talks about second graders coming together and collaborating. And I was like, that's so perfect because they're so young to where they'll take that and be able to collaborate with one another once they get up in higher grades and even once they graduate. So you are right. You're absolutely right. So this leads me to my next question. What would be a piece of advice for a graduating high school student looking to pursue a career in film and TV?
Hmm. Um, okay. The first thing I will say is get on set. Get on a professional set, whether if you have to be an extra or just a helping hand. Getting on set gives you that experience to see how it actually works. After that, um, I would say also start creating your own creatives. Um, that in itself is very, let's say, helpful. Um, School wise, to be completely honest with you and to just be completely blunt, it's not necessarily needed, but it can be helpful. Another is to get into classes such as Atlanta Hollywood Studios or any other classes that are around Atlanta. Um, and then, as we came back to it, networking,
Mhm.
networking. And one thing that I found within Atlanta, and that makes Atlanta such a great hub for film, is that everybody's willing to work with everybody at any level. Um, but we also take it very seriously as well. Um, yeah, yeah. Oh, and then my last one is, and I think this is more of a psychological one, but always, if you're an actor, always place yourself as an actor. So you know how they say, "Oh yeah, I'm an inspiring actor." It's like no, it's either you're an actor or you're not. Be an actor. If you're a producer, be a producer. If you're all of the above, be all of the above. But you have to set yourself in that state of you are um, there already. now it's just perfecting the craft. You know, when a quarterback goes on the field, he's not going to say, I'm an inspiring quarterback. He says, no, I am a quarterback. I take that same approach, when it comes to the arts. Yeah.
Take it seriously. Yeah, I've seen that a lot where people say you're not an aspiring actor, you are an actor. You're just perfecting your craft. So you're absolutely right. And that was a great piece of advice. So do you have any gems you would like to share with our viewers? Like maybe like something that you do, or maybe like more of a bigger piece of advice. I usually ask my interviewees if they have any gems they want to share.
I will definitely say, as a perspective, an actor's perspective, watch a lot of film and watch a lot of TV, and start to notice how they engage within the dialogues. So, you might notice that Ryan Reynolds, for instance, he uses a lot of his eyebrows whenever he is speaking or within a character. He's on every movie, he always does the eyebrow thing. And take what you need from that. Take what works for you. Another thing that I personally enjoy doing is reading scripts and analyzing those scripts, and then maybe watching the show after to see where like what you did differently. And it's okay to do things differently. I encourage people to do things differently, make it your own. But staying on top of being able to analyze a script and memorizing a script within a certain time frame that you give yourself. What I used to do is I used to take 2 or 3 pages of a script, give myself 20 minutes to memorize it, flesh out a whole character, see how much I can do, and then went down to 15, then it went down to 10, then it's down to 5, and being able to let go of the script and know the story is something that's extremely important. Because to be honest, a lot of people don't necessarily care about the wording in the script. It's knowing the story. So being able to train yourself to know the story is something that will free up a lot of your skills, if that makes sense.
Yes. So this isn't one of my questions. I just kind of came up with it because you've been talking about how you were given like the 4 scripts on the set of Coming to America. You told them it'll take you like 5 minutes. What tools or what tips would you have for like memorization for somebody who's like a newer actor?
Putting the words with movement. Our bodies like to communicate with our brains, obviously, Ned. But when you're memorizing a script and you're doing movements with it, you learn it a lot easier that way. So let's say, for instance, if each time I say the line, oh yeah, where are you going every Tuesday? And then I place the head scratch with every Tuesday, then I start that's my cue to know that my body sending that signal to my brain, say that line is a Tuesday. That for me was the biggest help, and something that I actually learned in classes in college. That movement is much easier with scripts.
I never thought about it like that. It makes sense. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, 5 to 10 years, definitely consistent work. I don't think there is a specific location that I would love to start working on bigger sets, with up and coming filmmakers as well. Yeah, I definitely, yeah, I think that's really, it's very simplistic, I know, but I'm someone who has goals that are very straightforward. Uh, and yeah, I think that's really it.
Okay.
Just the consistency of work, you know.
Yeah, I can see that. So those are all the questions that I have. Do you have anything that you would like to add to your?
Um, keep at it. No matter no matter what artistry form of artistry is, just keep at it. It can get very daunting, knowing that there are hundreds of millions of other people doing the exact same thing that you want to do. But as long as the goals are something that aren't necessarily driven by the financial aspect of it, then I think that just keeping on will is just the best advice that I can give anybody. Um, and it's okay to have sometimes type doubts. That makes us human, and that means we care. We care about what we do. Being scared sometimes cares, but realizing that and understanding that that's just a part of the journey will make things so much more easier. I've had times where I'm just like, man, whew, that audition wasn't it, but you know, but hey, look, that's a part of it, you know. Just keep auditioning, keep on pushing, because that in this life, having the opportunity to know what we want to do and what we're passionate about is a blessing that a lot of people don't even get to get or have. So cherish that and push forward.
Well, thank you so much for answering some questions for us, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Hang on just one second.